Welcome, Uncle Sugar's Magic Circus, episode 6. We're going to talk about some parachute stuff today.
Cool. You know why?
Why?
Because the fan mail is killing me. I'm getting tons of fan mail, and so are you. So I thought we'd let our fans ask questions. We'd answer the questions on the show.
Sounds perfect.
Okay, so today's letter is from a Miss Claire Busby of Saraville, New Jersey, and she wants to know, why would you want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Well, it's fun. There's that.
It's amazing. No, but there's a lot of good reasons. And you know what?
What?
We brought a very special person with us today. It's retired First Sgt. Dan Brown from Anglico and Force Recon fame.
Hi, everybody.
And he's probably only a little drunk today.
Cheers.
Welcome, Dan. So between the three of us, we've probably got 50 years of experience in jumping out of airplanes. So why don't you start, Keith, and tell us a little bit about how does someone end up in that position where they might want to jump out of an airplane?
Well, first you got to want to do it. There's that. So for me, I was actually still in the grunts. It was before I got to recon. And I ran the Super Squad competition, which we probably ought to do a show on that sometime, what Super Squad is. And we did well. And the battalion commander was a great guy, Merle Sexton. I love the man to death. He's a bona fide war hero from Vietnam. I said, Keith, I'll give you anything you want. What do you want to do? As a presento for doing such a good job with Super Squad, I said, I want to go to jump school. He laughed. And he goes, Keith, you know we're not recon. We're grunts. I don't have quotas to jump school. I said, yeah. You get them, recon turns them back in every month. They can't fill all their quotas. So can I have one? So he got on the phone and got me quota to jump school, and off I went. And I went to jump school and had a blast. And then after that, went to recon, and the rest is Gold Wing history.
Yeah, jump school, Army does it. It's down at Fort Benning, Georgia. Is that right, Dan?
Yep.
And what, 3 weeks long still? Well,
Yeah.
it was when you
Well,
went
it was
there too.
when I
right?
went, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So how was that for you, going through jump school?
It was terrible. It was. No, it's made for Army privates.
Yeah.
So I went there as a probably 4-year sergeant.
Uh,
So it was a good experience. The good thing is,
So they put you in charge of a stick, didn't they?
Yeah. So started with maybe part of a stick, and then within 2 days it was the whole platoon.
Yeah. How many people quit on day one when you when they ask, how many of you guys want to quit?
I don't know how many were there, but there was every day they would ask that question.
It's amazing.
We lost.
Every day,
Yeah.
to include final jump day, people quit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, you know why that is, right? Because the
No.
Army sends some of those guys on
Well,
orders without ever asking them if
yeah.
they want to jump out of an airplane. So, I mean, I don't hold it against them.
Yeah.
I knew that when I was going, but I just thought it was interesting because on day one,
yeah.
they'll ask you, who wants to be here, who wants to go home? And there's hands go up every
I started laughing. I thought it was a
go
joke.
home.
We lost 150 people the first day.
That's crazy.
We had 500 people, give or take, and this grizzled old first sergeant comes out. Oh, doesn't want to be here in my jump school. And I'm like, yeah, right, it took me 2 years to get here.
Right.
Idiot. And people just start leaving.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, they don't appreciate it.
Now,
Yeah.
so it's ground week, tower week, and jump week, right?
Did you go
week-
to pre? There's a pre-week. Did you go to the pre-week?
Oh, no, me either.
Army has a pre-week.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Ground week, you learn how to land. Like, you learn how to fall because you land like a sack of potatoes, let's be honest. I mean, it's not
On a
not
good
like
day.
you see it nowadays with the fancy parachutes and everything.
No.
And those are big round chutes. They're very hard to steer.
Yeah.
They're just for putting
No
massive
holes.
numbers of people out on
Uh-huh.
the ground as fast as you possibly can.
Mass attack.
Yeah. And that's the whole point. Like, why would you want to throw yourself out of a perfectly good airplane? Well, it's to sneak people in a place or a time when the enemy's not expecting it, or to put a small team in, right, in advance, which is what we all experienced,
Yeah.
in advance of a force to try to get some information. So that's why you throw yourself out of a perfectly good airplane. Thank you very much.
Show over. See ya.
Second week is tower week.
Yeah.
You practice coming out of the tower. They drop you off a cable, basically,
Yeah.
right, with a parachute.
Yeah.
And you practice your landing. And then the last week you jump.
Yep.
Anything weird happen to you?
Well, about 10 million flutter kicks and push-ups is about it.
Yeah,
for
They
doing
like,
stuff
Army
wrong.
likes the Marine down thing and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, but the only issues I had was final jump.
What happened on your final jump?
Came out of the aircraft, everything was fine. I'd turn right to steer, but I would turn left. I'd pull left risers, I would turn right.
That's backwards.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on? This is getting worse. Things are supposed to get better. This is day 4 or 5 of jumping. And so as I'm coming down, I figure out that I'm doing the opposite. So I'm going to, I thought I had it figured out. But anyway, you hear the bullhorn. Guy's yelling at me, turn right, airborne, turn left. Blah, blah, blah. So I just blocked him out, landed, got yelled at a little bit. I went to the little trailer, and luckily it was the halfway decent sergeant airborne in there. And hey, every time I pulled right, I went left, and vice versa. And he said, well, let me see what you got. So he opens up my bag and looks at it, and my parachute was inverted. So it must have been packed backwards.
Whoa.
And that's what his reaction was. He goes, whoa.
You could get dead doing that.
He said, you want to do something about this? And I said, nope. This is the last day. You handle it however you want to handle it.
So they packed your parachute inside out, and so the risers ended up on the wrong side.
Yeah, they were actually crossed.
I don't even know how that opened.
I don't even know how they could do that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You have to drink a lot to make that
somehow
happen.
it was backwards.
That's
And that was probably the worst landing, definitely this.
Oh, I bet.
Yep.
I got the jump
So
school.
we were graduating.
Yeah, then who
So I
cares?
didn't care.
You just wanted to graduate.
Yeah.
Get your lead sleds.
That's
And
it.
you're out. Nice ceremony, too. They ran down, take them. And we were a day behind. So, because of weather. And so they literally throw in, because guys are trying to make the airport to get out. Get out of here! And scream to you, get on the bus. I show up, check into the Marine liaison. There's a gunny sitting there. And he looks at me, he looks at my orders, he looks at my face, looks at my orders, looks at my face. He goes, sir, you don't happen to have a brother named Bruce, do you? I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. Yeah? Turns out these guys are on the drill field together.
That's funny.
Yeah, guess who
Small
did
world.
10,000 push-ups
Oh, that would be
first
you,
week?
Keith.
He picked up the phone when I was standing there. He calls down the ground with because they're all buddies. He goes, hey, I got a lieutenant up here. His name is Kelly, and my number was Alpha 123. His number's Alpha 123 because you have that stupid number in your helmet.
Yeah.
He goes, he says he can do more push-ups than you can make him do. Like, I'm looking at this guy. I said, thanks, Gunny. He's laughing his ass off. Yeah, I did push-ups all week. It was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, lovely.
First jump, everything's going smooth. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm scared shitless, actually. Let's be honest, right? The first time you jump, it's freaking scary as hell. You're in an airplane. I think we're at about 850 or, I don't know, maybe the first jump they're a little higher.
Yeah,
maybe
I think they
1,000.
jump at 1,000 first.
Yeah,
jump.
so 1,000 feet in the air. The back of the airplane opens up. There's air rushing through. It's loud. It's insane.
Yeah.
And you're going through all your stuff, and you do your 2 minutes, and you do your 1 minute, and you hook up, and you're moving towards the door. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm really going to fucking do this. I fling my body out, count to 4. I get silk above me, and it gets so quiet.
Yeah,
Remember
isn't
that?
that weird?
The
Yeah.
first time you do it, it's like, what just happened? You go from cacophony of sounds and chaos and things and people and lights to nothing. And this just eerie silence. And then you can start to hear the flapping of the different parts of the parachute as it opens up. And then maybe you start to hear these little echoes of people's voices. Yeah. And then there's like, jumper on the left.
Yeah.
Do not panic.
Avoid the jumper.
Bicycle, turn right. Jumper, turn right. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm looking around. I realize, oh crap, I got a couple of turns in my lines.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do what I'm supposed to do. I pull my lines apart. I start bicycling. I'm bicycling. I pop out. I'm like, yes, awesome. And I grab my toggles. And about that time, I look ahead of me and realize I'm about to run into somebody. So he's a little bit lower than me, so I hit right into his lines. Now, they do a good job of training you for, problems, right?
Yeah.
This is another one of the problems. Like, I knew if you got a twist, I knew what to do.
Yeah.
If I run into risers, I know what to do. You spread eagle.
That's right.
We
Yep.
spread eagle, so I spread eagle. But you're also supposed to do another thing. What is it? Anybody remember?
Cover your
reserve.
You're supposed to cover your reserve ripcord, right?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do that part. I did my spread eagle, and I bounced off his lines, and I was like, all right. And I yelled, turning right. I turn right. And I look down, and I'm watching the cords behind my ripcord on my reserve parachute, which is sitting on my chest. Slowly, and I mean slowly, in slow motion, pull the cord out, and the parachute pops open and falls out, and then inflates.
Yeah.
So now I've got 2 parachutes, and now I'm not steering anything.
No, you're along for
In
the
fact,
ride.
I'm kind of laying back on my back a little bit, and I'm falling about two times slower than everybody else, and that's when I hear it. Jumper who has deployed his reserve. Do not panic. Do not try to steer the parachute. Like, Oh my God! So yeah, that was my first jump. 2 chutes.
Did they go batshit when you hit the ground?
Yeah, well, I mean, they wanted to know obviously.
Yeah,
why
what
that
the hell
happened.
were you doing?
Once I explained it to them, I caught a bunch of crap. I did push-ups forever, but
Yeah.
they didn't give me any crap after that. But I landed quite gently on my on my back, just
It's like jumping with a cargo parachute at that point.
exactly. So that was my first jump out of the gate. Yeah. But it's absolutely beautiful up there, man. And it's
is.
like the first time you do it, you're like terrified to do it. And then you try it one time, you're like, how fast can I get back up there? Once it's done one time, you're like,
Yeah.
how fast can I get?
It's like heroin, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can get hurt, though, can't you?
Yeah, I know Dan did.
Yeah. Tell us about that, Dan.
So, after you get your lead sleds, and then you have to do a certain amount of jumps, certain type of jumps, night, day, out of certain aircraft, whatever, to get your gold wings.
Yeah.
So, I'm at about jump 13. It should only take you another 5, but
Yeah.
just
You have to have a night,
situations.
you have to have a heavy junk. Yeah.
So, finally, I'm on the first stick of night, and it really wasn't night. It was more like nautical twilight, but we were doing a bunch of jumps with Reserve Anglico from Tampa. And we're up there in a bird, and everything's going well. We're probably like the third stick because we started during the day, and then we were going to transition us. And I saw the jump master, the way he was doing the door was he was just grabbing the lines and bringing them to his chest. And all I'd ever seen was push him to the rear.
Yeah.
Sal's the door, push him to the rear. Well, this guy was just gathering his chest, but there was no issues. Like, whatever. So we're jumping out the left door, and we're walking, and Mike Palmquist was in front of me. He was the stick leader. So I had to pop out another riser because it was too tight.
Yeah.
So I had some loose stuff, I guess. And I guess so when the guy wasn't pushing the static line or the cables all the way back, some of it must have sucked out the door
Oh, Jesus.
with me. So I jump out. I'm counting to 4, and I'm looking. Luckily, I'm not one of them jumpers that close their eyes. And I see this yellow thing creeping up my arm.
Ooh, this
So
is
I
gonna go
tried
bad.
to, beat it, but I didn't. I think it was a C-141, so we're going pretty fast.
Yeah.
And 800-foot combat equipment jump.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that hurt. I was screaming,
So for clarification, the static line that's attached to the
Stays with the
airplane
aircraft. Yeah.
wrapped around your arm.
It went, so the only thing I can think, because when you jump out, you grab your reserve. So when I handed it to him and then jumped out,
You hooked it.
it was,
Yeah.
I put my arm through.
Yep.
Because I saw it when I was jumping. I saw this yellow thing, and I couldn't.
It'll
react fast
shave
enough.
It'll shave
So
your
your
bicep
whole
right
weight
off.
plus the speed
Yep.
of you falling out of the airplane. Oh yeah, look at
That right there. I don't know if the camera can pick that up.
Pulled all the muscles
Part of
off
it's up
your
here?
bicep.
Yes, my bicep was a tennis ball right in my elbow. So my arm is not functioning.
Well, I mean,
Mike
Imagine
thinks
that.
I'm hooting and hollering because I'm a jump or 2 ahead of him. He's not getting his gold wings tonight, so he's like, fuck you. It wasn't.
It was not joy. Shouts of joy.
No, no. So T10 combat equipment, no way to steer it. So we get let out over the water. We're at
so on a T10, there's no toggles, right? You got to pull. You got to pull
That's
the
old.
Well,
parachutes.
yeah, you got some of them
there's
have.
toggles, the brake toggles, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But if you want to, you got to pull a slip.
Yeah.
You pull all of the.
You actually grab the riser,
Grab the
and pull
risers
it
and pull
down.
them
It
down.
changes the shape of the parachute
That's
and kind
it.
of turns
Yep,
it. Kind of
yep,
turns
yep.
you. Yeah.
So I pull. I'm not pulling enough, so I reach up to grab more, and it just goes back up. So I was like, well, guess I got to hold what I got and see if I get there. And I made the zone, but
Wow.
holding one slip. But then I have to let go of that because I got to let go of my combat equipment because I don't want to land with that on me.
Yep.
So I drop that, get to the ground. I'm sure it was feet ass head. A lot of it's blurry at that point, and I remember just dragging my shit. I'm all the way, Falcon. It's pretty big, and I was
Yeah.
at the probably northeast corner, so I got to go all the way back to the road to the mound, and then I was like, where the hell were you at? Blah blah blah. And then my jump buddy never even checked on me. He's getting his ass chewed by Mike. So he's like, what happened? And I showed him my arm. I had this yellow paint and it's not paint. I mean, it's burn
Yeah.
it
on
was
my camis.
Nylon burns on your camis. Is what it was.
And then I took off my blouse, and bicep was right there, and the corpsman was like, holy fuck. And he's, why didn't you turn on your strobe or blow your whistle? I'm like, why? I'm
What
not
are you gonna
dead.
do? Yeah.
I didn't want to cancel the rest of the jump. There was a bunch of people behind me that stood at the jump. So anyway, I just had somebody give me a ride to the hospital. Oval Redenbacher was there, put me in a green cravat, gave me some drugs, and told me to come back on Monday. It was a Friday night.
Jesus.
That was my treatment. Percocets.
Navy medicine at its best.
The green.
Yeah.
Well, when I came back, they said, we've never seen this before. We probably should have sent you to Bragg.
You think?
So they should have done surgery, and they should have, it didn't happen. They said, we can do it now, but it's going to be another 6 months rehab. And I was like, You know, it was like a year later when another buddy did the same thing.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Perfect.
A gold wing jump.
At least you got your goal wings,
I
brother.
did.
Yep, see?
Yeah, that's good. So, we sent our guys to jump school at Force because the point was it's an insertion technique.
Yeah.
Right? So the idea is you can sneak people behind enemy lines, right? And then small 4 or 6 man teams, depending on when you were going through that stuff.
Yeah.
Would kind of find a way to get to a specific objective area and put eyes on a target and then be able to report back what was going on. But Dan, you were with Anglico, which did something sort of similar to that, right? What do they do over there at Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company?
Similar thing. You know, you want to insert forward of enemy line or enough to get eyes on, so you can drop some either air, some CAS or naval guns or artillery, mortar, whatever. You're calling in close air support.
So you guys were masters of fire support. You were,
yep, and you had to get
forward
there.
Observers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And our mission was to, part of its demise back when it went down was because we didn't support the Marine Corps. We were on the 18th Airborne Corps' tether. They had a recall. We had to be there.
Interesting.
So we would drive to Bragg.
Yeah.
And sometimes they were just fake, but we had to be at Bragg within like 2 hours from Camp Lejeune. So we were always ready to go. But anyway, that's because that's what they did, so we had to do that.
Yeah.
So, we just
Interesting.
jumped in, hiked, kind of like a lurst.
Yeah.
Jumped in, got to your position, and then sat on an OP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much that was your life. You sat in OP and you called in fire.
Yeah,
Put
and those
steel on
guys-
target all day.
Yeah, but those guys, you guys had a reputation in the Marine Corps. That's probably one of the reasons why the Army wanted you so badly.
They were-
Well, when
they
you
were
have
good.
ships,
very good.
when you can call in naval gunfire,
Yeah.
they're out 20 miles out and you're dropping lead on somebody's head. It's a big thing.
So I was on an oil platform raid in 1988.
Yeah.
And the Anglico det that was with us on that MEU called 20 minutes of naval gunfire on an oil platform that had 6 connected platforms, right?
Sub-platforms, pumping stations.
Yeah, and one of them was a tanking station that was full of phosgene gas, which is highly poisonous. And so the instructions they were given was they wanted them to hit all of the parts of the platform except for that, using naval gunfire, 20 minutes worth. And they did it.
Jesus
20 minutes
Christ.
worth of air burst,
Yeah.
peppering the hell out of these guys. Never touched those phosgene gas tanks. Blew my
amazing.
mind.
It's art. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's talented. Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys were talented.
Uh-huh.
No kidding. What kind of crazy airplanes have you jumped out of, Keith?
OV-10.
That's probably about the craziest one.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us how that works?
Well, you sit in a tube. The plane. Have you jumped OV-10s?
It got canked, but we mocked up and we got in there. And
So you can only get 4 guys in there.
Yeah.
And you sit with your back facing the front of the airplane, and you have to sit with the guy, your legs wrapped around the waist of the guy in front of you. A little homophobic. And then the guy at the end sits with his legs outside the aircraft.
Yeah.
Plane takes off, they get the altitude, and when it's time to jump, they pull the nose straight up and go straight up in the air. And then you just watch the lights. There's no jump master. You just unhook and fall out of the plane. You get pooped out of an airplane. Whee!
Yeah.
It's a wild jump. The first time you did it, you fall through your risers. You basically do a flip through the risers, and then everything's backwards. So the toggles are like facing the wrong way. It's crazy. It's a laugh riot, though, I'm telling you. And it's a great insert platform because it's a prop plane. We don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can fly pretty low. And
They
then it
fly,
pops
exactly.
up.
And that's
Yeah.
what they do. We jump down in Otay Mesa, and they'd come over the mountains from east to west, and they drop into the valley at about 1,000 miles an hour, and they just pull.
I don't think they even have there's no OV-10s in the inventory anymore.
No, they're
Yeah.
gone. Have you ever jumped with foreigners?
Oh, I have not jumped with foreigners. How about you? I know you have.
Here's a stupid story time. So after Desert Storm, come back, and we're right back out as a Spec Ops officer from the 13th MEU. We get back. I go right back to Kuwait. So they give me a rental car. I'm in and out of the embassy every day, which is fun because you get to drive like 120 miles an hour in Kuwait, and there's no cops. You do whatever you want. The place is destroyed. I'm having a laugh riot. So the colonel says to me, he goes, "Go make friends with their special forces guys," which we had been working with. He goes, "We're going to do a jump. Invite them to come with us." I'm
This
like,
is
"Yeah."
the Kuwaiti Special Forces.
So, yes, sir.
Commandos.
So I go down there and I meet their general. And he's got an office like a small palace, you know. And I tell him what we're going to do. And he goes, "Okay, what kind of..." I'm asking some questions. I have some great trepidations here, having worked with foreigners before. I said, "Where do these guys go to jump school?" "Algeria and Libya." I'm like, "I don't know much about Algerian jump school or Libyan jump school." So, okay, what kind of equipment you got? And he's got his man there with him, his first lieutenant. And he's very proud. So what kind of equipment you got? I'm thinking he's going to tell me, what type of parachutes. And we have jump boots.
Okay.
You have jump boots? Yes. Okay. So, and the general's like, "Well, what kind of airplanes are we going to jump out of?" I said, "We don't have airplanes. We're on boats. You can see them right out there." I said, "So we're going to go out of helicopters." "You can't jump out of a helicopter." Yeah, you can. You can. Trust me." She goes, "You got to come brief my staff tomorrow on this, because now they're worried." And I can't figure out what they're scared of. So I show up the next day. There's 40 people in this room, and with lots of room, by the way. They're all smoking. So I walk into London, try and find the general's desk. I get up to the front. He goes, "Okay," and they got a terp for me. "Okay, brief the jump." So I tell him we're going to jump this altitude, and the type of airplane. We're going to jump out of 46s and 53s. And guys, the terp's going, and he gets 53. I said, "It's helicopters." Helicopters, yeah. So he says whatever helicopter is in their language to them, and a Marx Brothers movie ensues. There's pandemonium. Everybody goes batshit crazy. I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? They are convinced, and I am not making this up, that if you jump out of a helicopter in flight, you will get sucked up through the rotors and get Julianed. No more jump. Now, I'm trying not to laugh. These guys are running around with their hair on fire, screaming. It got to the point I had to get on the coffee table in the general's office and going wop, 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 and jump off the desk and pantomime that the helicopter is driving away as I jump out of the back of the helicopter. I'm like, I don't know if I get paid enough for this, or I'm just going to remember this for the rest of my life. It was hysterical. Fast forward, we do the jump. It's Ramadan, so, they're dragging ass. I tell Colonel Haley, Steve Haley, who I love to death, who actually saved my life. I'd go anywhere with this guy, the mute commander. I say, "Hey," I tell him the story. He's laughing his ass off. So the next day, when these guys show up to jump with us, he grabs the lieutenant who's in charge of these guys. And he goes, "Now listen, when you jump, make sure you time it just right so you go through the rotors." And turns around and walks away. Like, "Thanks, Colonel. That was great."
That ain't right.
This guy comes down, so I intersperse these guys throughout all the different sticks, and we jump out of the planes. It's fucking Kuwait. Yeah. There's a 2-ribbon airstrip and 38,000 square miles of desert. Stevie Wonder can't fuck this up.
Yep.
So I'm on the ground with a couple of the Force Recon kids. I got my jumps done. We're just standing there watching. Here comes this lieutenant. Right on
Runway.
to the runway. I'm thinking he's going to turn. He's going to turn. He's going to turn. Lands like a lawn dart, tunk, and tips over. I'm like, he's got our broken legs. The kid next to me, the sergeant, is laughing like a hyena. And we just start laughing because I know he's dead. And there goes my career. I killed the fucking Kuwaiti Special Forces guys. Go running over there. He gets up. "I am fine."
I have my jump boots.
Foreigners. Yeah.
Great.
How about you, Dan? Did you jump with foreign guys?
I did. I jumped with the Brits.
Oh, they're normal. You can jump with, yeah.
Well, they're normal, but their JMPIs were a little different than ours. Ours.
What's a JMPI?
Jump master, primary inspection.
Yeah. It's to make sure everything's packed correctly and you're
You get inspected before you get on the plane.
So theirs was
Your equipment is
and
all
you're wearing their
spawned
shoots. It's a water jump.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You feel okay, mate?" "Yep. Okay, have a good jump."
So you're gonna. Would you mind just checking a couple things out back there and make sure everything's gonna work?
That was it. The good part is they have a support unit. It's kind of like the Army. They don't do anything after they land.
Yeah.
There's a boat comes and grabs your stuff. You just swim in.
Oh, yeah.
They do everything. They shake their chutes.
Fancy.
That was
Cool.
nice, yeah.
Now, you guys are both Halo qualified, too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about that.
That's an interesting bit. So, I really my best story comes from Halo School. Although I did a bunch of tree landings. That's the only other thing.
That's not where you're supposed to go.
I had a lot of trouble figuring out how to not hit trees in the beginning. Anybody who remembers me will remember that. They used to brief my combat equipment was like, and Sal's going to jump with a chainsaw and an axe. And I'm probably if there's one tree on the drop zone, I'm probably going to hit it. And what I discovered, and this is an interesting metaphor for life too, is if you focus on something, that's where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
So I always used to be like, I don't want to hit that tree. I better keep my eye on it, right? And so I'm staring at the tree. And I'm driving right at it. And like, it's getting bigger. I don't understand this, right? So yeah, it translates well to your life too. If you're focusing on the negative crap, you're gonna drive right to it. But anyway, I think my best story just is coming out of jump school. Again, it's my first jumps are like because they're so magical, right? The first time you do something is like amazing. I jumped out with a PJ, was my jump buddy, and they kind of screwed him over because at the last, we were both going to do a poised jump. A poised jump is you just stand up, run towards the end of not run, but kind of move quickly towards the ramp, and then as you're leaving the airplane, you sort of do a pirouette. You flip around like this, and then you fall. And then you transition to a fall like that. It's really easy to do. It catches your air really evenly, and you don't flip around a lot. Just before we go out the airplane, the instructor grabs my PJ buddy, and he goes, "Hey, for this jump, why don't you go ahead and dive? And you'll Sal will jump out poised, and you'll dive, and you guys will be facing each other, and you'll just fall. It'll be perfect." He's like, "Okay, all right, go." So it was literally like last second change. Well, I guess his mind wasn't on it, right? So here's what I see. I jump out, and again, chaos, noise inside the airplane. As soon as you're out, it's like, there's just a weird sensation of like you're alone in the sky, right? So it's like it's a weirdly peaceful, right? So I leave the plane's disappearing quietly. And I see my buddy in front of me, and he goes, "Flip, flip, 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 flip." I'm like, uh-oh. Out of the corner of my eye, I see this black flash because the students wore yellow and a white helmet, and the instructors wore black, and black. So out of the corner of my eye, I see this black movement. I look, he's in a full delta. Right? Screaming down, face to earth, arms behind him like a rocket, and the instructor screams down, gets down by where this guy's flipping, and I watch him grab him, and they stabilize, and then he lets him go, and they both give each other the thumbs up, and then I see him look up like this, and then he gets big, and he elevators up to me and stops right in front of me. Like, these guys have thousands and thousands of jumps. I think I ended up with 42 jumps total, static line and halo by the time I got out. So I never was even close to these guys in the ability to fly. But he comes up like a freaking elevator. He stops right in front of me. He gives me a thumbs up, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah! That was the coolest thing I ever saw." About that time, it's time to start going, is it time? 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 First jump, yay. Amazing. And then once you're under canopy, again, it's like, it's just so
It's
quiet.
that second thing,
It's quiet and peaceful, and you can like see everything forever.
Well, then you're
in every
chilled.
direction.
Everything's relaxed at that point. You're under canopy.
Oh, it was so cool. It was just the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I loved it.
I did too. I had issues at that school.
Problems.
I did that school again towards the end. Another PJ.
Yeah.
I was between two PJs. They stack you by weight, so your rate of fall is similar, or whatever. And,
Makes sense.
this guy was a pipeline in his pipeline, so he's probably an E3, just graduated regular jump school and went right to free fall.
Which is what they do.
Yeah, he's got no jump experience, but no issue so far. Well, he was too high to be where he is, and we're coming in on a final approach, and he decides or realizes, I'm too high. I need to. What he should have did was just looped around and grabbed another spot in the stack. Well, he did a 180, and he's coming at me, and I'm yelling at him to turn right, and he's just like, get this big. I still remember this big stupid look on his face.
Oh my God.
His combat equipment is already lowered.
I'm in danger.
It wasn't even that. Like, he's in danger, I think is what he was thinking of me. But, so anyway, he's coming. I can't get away from this guy. We come right at each other. And his combat equipment hits me, or hits my parachute, collapses my parachute. I'm only a couple hundred feet above. Like I said, we're on final.
Yeah.
And everything went fast. All I know is I'm looking at the ground. probably doing my immediate actions I'm supposed to do or whatever, and the parachute opens up right at the end, last second, and I do a decent landing. Off the zone, across the street. One of the instructors comes over and goes, dude, I thought you were dead.
Yeah.
You know, your parachute should not have opened that, like, you know what I mean?
That quickly. Yeah.
He didn't expect it to open up that quickly. So anyway, I go over and nice and calmly with a balled up fist, and I'm getting ready to just clock this dude. And one of the instructors saw me, and he says, don't, because we'll have to drop you.
Oh.
I said, okay, got it. So I gave the guy a, I got kids, I got a wife. You understand that kind of stuff? This isn't a game. But anyway, we go back to the shoot house. We're packing our chutes, shaking our chutes, and all that stuff. And the guy's helping me because you helped each other. And then there's this hole in my parachute, that big, where his combat equipment was. I still have that little piece of parachute material. I asked the rigger, he goes, yeah, I'm not supposed to. I said, give me it.
Nice, you kept it. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that was another jump school story, but
yeah,
got lucky there.
Yeah.
And, after that, they were just fun jumps. The last jump I got hit. Almost got dropped myself. But
really?
I did a crosswind landing on purpose. I know I'm not supposed to, but I already had 2 issues. I said, I'm staying away from these 2 idiots. Because one PJ was like Jethro. This dude was probably 50 pounds heavier than me, 6'4", huge dude, and then the other guy's similar to my size. I said, I'm staying away from these guys. So our night, combat equipment, wall locker type thing, low loom. I could see him. So I just said, I'm staying over here. I do a crosswind landing. I'm like, cool. I'm packing my chute up, and I got hit. This guy, the big Jethro, was landing, and he hit me on his landing, and I went flying. I was already out of my rig, packing my chute.
Like getting hit by a bus.
It was. I probably went 20 feet.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ.
That was fun, though. But
That's crazy.
But that's why we jump out of perfectly good aircraft.
It is why.
There you go, Claire.
We have to. Is the number one, Reggie. You got to go, right?
Yeah.
You get
You
paid
don't
to do it, too.
Yeah, and hey, it was fun.
It was fun.
We had a really good time.
Yeah.
Dan, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
problem.
it.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.